Okay, good evening and welcome. This is the January 8th, 2024 meeting of the school committee. Call the meeting to order 5:31. This meeting is being both audio and videotaped this evening, and I would ask that everyone rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation.
nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
We missed you last time, Sarah, because that pledge last time, silent.
Oh,
Like,
silent.
am I the only one talking here? I felt I was the only one talking here.
Next time.
So welcome back. Yeah. Okay, moving right along. We have roll call. Samantha, would you like to start us off, please?
Samantha Velasquez, Secretary.
Pamela Blair, Assistant Superintendent for Business.
Antonella Rochella.
Gordon Smith, Superintendent of Schools.
Gregory Thompson.
Sarah Trulio.
Kate Lyden.
Amy Delenta.
Emily Baker, Student Rep.
Okay, thank you all. We have minutes for approval. I would entertain a motion, please.
I move to approve the December 18th, 2023 regular session meeting minutes.
Motion made by Antonella,
Second.
second by Amy. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, nay.
And I'll
Any
abstain.
abstentions? 401. Thank you, Samantha, for the minutes. Committee and subcommittee communications. Emily, would you like to start us off tonight?
Coming off of break, we don't have too much going on, but there is a few things. Wrestling actually had their senior night on January 3rd. Did really well. It's the first of the winter sports to have it. NHS tutoring has started at the middle school. Right now, we're currently sending smaller groups of students, but the kids are really enjoying it, and working with like a high school student gives them more confidence. So we've had a lot of good feedback from that. And Spartanum auditions are starting this week because the show is going to be in March and they're getting it all set up, and it's really, really exciting.
You have a comedy act or what's your act, Emily?
Oh, I should, but
Well, there's time still.
yeah.
Oh, great. Thank you, Emily. Amy.
My only thing to report is that I attended an ELEAF meeting last weekend. The gala is set for the 10th of February and tickets are on sale.
How might one get tickets to
I,
an event?
the Facebook page, I think, is probably the easiest way to access the link.
Okay, great. Thank you, Amy. Kate,
I have nothing tonight.
okay. Sarah?
I've been to a few of the hockey games, these Seminole hockey games, and they seem like they're off to a really good start. And I know that there's some freshmen on the varsity team and that there's also some eighth graders who were on the JV team. So it's been nice to see that. I know that was something that came forward committee as well. So good to see kids out there and they're having a strong start to the season.
Great. It's Ellen.
I don't have anything.
Okay, just one thing. Gordon and I and a few other members of the pool committee went to Minnehaha to check out their pool and learned a lot of things and some good ideas for our pool. So that project is moving forward, as is the school project. So
Nice.
here we go.
All right.
Also want to wish everyone a happy new year and welcome back as we start 2024. Great. We have an opportunity for visitors to address the committee. I see no one raising their hand tonight. So we will move right along for the FY24 second quarter financial report from the Assistant Superintendent for Business.
Yes.
Claire, please. I feel my sticker up. You're pointing that on.
In your packet is your second quarter, which is as of December 31st, 2023. I tried to do this for you right away so we could stay on top of the budget and where we're at. So as I always tell you, attached is a spreadsheet that is a financial update for the FY24 budget. This is your second quarter. This report also includes your grants and revolving accounts. So if you go to page 5, that's where I keep the spreadsheet. And the salary side is on the top section of this spreadsheet. As you move your way down, as I always say to you, most of these salary accounts are encumbered at the beginning of the year. However, there are line items that are not encumbered because things such as athletics, could be nursing staff, some of the clerical benefit things. So as you move down from the top section, the only two lines that I really want to bring to your attention is the paraprofessional line, which has 128,950. Paraprofessionals are typically encumbered. What we do have in that line item is there are 4 vacancies and 2 leave of absences. So that does affect the available balance there. And the other line item is the teachers' Unit A line item, and there are 2 vacancies and 8 leave of absences. Now, some of these are paid, some are unpaid. So collectively, this ends up affecting the available balance with a surplus there. So we'll continue to monitor that as the year goes on. So the salaries, you'll see that the expended and the encumbered is actually 95% of the salary side has already been encumbered or expended. Any questions on the salary side?
And we're not quite halfway through the year
Mhm.
yet, and the substitute balance, we have spent a good portion higher than.
I too have been looking at that. So there's a total of 360,000 in that line item. As you recall, we took 1 permanent building sub from each for each of the schools and put it under this line. So it is something I'm watching
Has
for.
that been encumbered, the one
That's correct.
already? Oh, so
Well,
that-
when I say encumbered, it's not encumbered there, which is really interesting.
Not
that you're
encumbered.
Saying that. Yeah, let me double check on that for you because I'm thinking it should be.
Maybe it
encumbered.
is, yeah.
So let me check on that for you and I'll let you know. But I too, so the remaining balance right now is 164,000, meaning we've expended already 195,000. So that is something I'm looking at for you all to monitor.
And then, oh, sorry, were you all?
Sure.
That, so when you look at the professional development line item for salaries, is that the line item that's connected to the outside PD that educators can request to take? Or,
No, these are more well, it's yes and no. So it's stipends.
yep,
Like if, okay, but when we have contracted services, those are down in the bottom line.
okay, but if
Sense?
It's 650 that the educators can put in for.
put in for, it, is that what this one is up top? That's,
No, because that it's more than the 60. I think a part of that is,
okay,
and it's for the salary side.
okay,
For any kind of stipends that, or any substitute that was covering for professional development, that would fall under the salary side.
okay,
And the rest of it for contracted services is under. the
gotcha.
Expense side.
That's how it's split up between the
That's
two
correct.
buckets. Okay, thank you.
And I can give you a clearer clarification on which is on which at the next meeting for you.
Sure, I'm just curious to see how many educators are still taking advantage of that function of the contract, especially as we think about going
This
into
is a-
negotiations.
Yeah,
Be good to know.
Mhm.
This was a heavy year, wasn't it?
it should be, but it's not showing necessarily. And we also have the partnership with Westfield State. So there are 2 courses that they can take free of charge.
And I think the offerings
Relicensure,
of the district have been in alignment with
right? Things that they need to
what they
accomplish.
need. So
Yeah.
that might be also taking
Mhm.
some of that to consideration. So just curious. Thank you, Pam.
You're welcome. Yeah, I'll try to get more detail for you next time. Any other questions on the salary side? So on the bottom section of the spreadsheet is your expense side of the operating budget. And you will notice about 87% has been either expended or encumbered. The line item that I just wanted to make mention, there's only 2 large ones there, and that's the out-of-district tuitions. That's basically that balance there is the LPVEC, the special ed, has not been encumbered yet. There was some questions on the invoice, so just the full amount has not been encumbered yet. So you'll see that reflected on the next quarter.
We'll take
Yeah.
up most of that, I would.
Yes,
imagine.
exactly. A very good portion of that. There were some changes in the students, so we wanted to make sure we had it correct before it got encumbered. We've also had some change in staffing in the student services office, so things are just, moving a little bit slower because they want to make sure they're doing it right. And the other line item is the educational supplies. You'll see 300,000 there. That continually gets expended throughout the fiscal year. So you'll see that in the third quarter going down substantially. So the bottom line is, just as a reminder to everyone, our budget is 34,618,457. We have expended 13,138,059, encumbered 19,426,170, and that leaves a remaining available balance as of December 31st, 2,054,228, which is very similar to what it was last year. Last year was about 2.2 million. I always kind of look back just to make sure, we're on target and nothing seems, so we are on target there. The next page, page 6 is your grants and your revolving. On the top section of the page are your grants. And you'll see the ESSER, which ends, I always gently remind everyone, that's going away September 30th. We do have a plan in place for that, which we'll talk about a little bit more when we talk about the budget. I anticipate all of these same grants will come through in the budget process for next year as well, except for that ESSER grant. Everything seems to be on target here. You see your expended, you're encumbered, and you're available. I run these reports monthly and then give them to the person who's kind of overseeing the grants, gently remind them of what needs to be expended. Any questions on any of the grants? Okay. Your revolving accounts are on the bottom. You'll see the athletic revolving account is very low. It just has a $15 balance there. That's because there's a lot of student athletic fees that come through the Unipay, and so it's actually a town account. So the money has to then be balanced and then put into the revolving account from the town. Does that make sense? Through a reconciliation process?
Which hasn't happened
Correct. It hasn't happened.
just for the winter. It's happened for the.
That's correct. Yes. So we're definitely a good month behind always just because of that process. It just has never quite been so low that it jumped out so much like that. So I did want to make mention of that. The other accounts here, the tuition revolving account, I'm just reminding you that's your preschool tuitions. Transportation, the first quarter, there was a substantial balance there, and I had said that we were going to be using that towards the transportation expenditures. So you'll see that there's just 40,000 there, which if we don't end up needing, would just, like all the revolving accounts, roll into the next year. School lunch has a pretty good balance there at 465,000. As a reminder, school lunch should have about a 3 months worth of operating costs, which equates to approximately 250, maybe 3 now because things are a little higher. There is a plan in place for equipment purchases that are needed throughout the district. So Lori Paul is working on that. School choice, you'll see a hefty balance there, the 654,000. We do have a plan in place also, which we'll probably talk about during the budget discussion, is for district-wide summer academy programs. Once the ESSER funds end, we do need to have a plan in place so we can support that, as well as high school credit recovery program. And again, there'll be further discussions about that. Circuit breaker, you'll see a large balance there, 1,149,850. I will say that when I ran a report earlier today before this meeting, $1 million is encumbered that you're not seeing there. So of that 1,149,000, $1 million is already encumbered behind the scenes.
So there's only 149,000.
Correct, but there's always the
We
quarterly.
haven't received. This
Exactly.
reflects
the
just
revenues.
the one. The one
Quarter.
quarter.
Yep, that's correct, because it always,
So we have 3 more quarters to go with
That's
that
correct.
same number.
yep.
Yep.
That is absolutely correct. Any questions on any of the revolving?
The mobile technology insurance, we've expended 37,000. That's for new Chromebooks. Is that we,
Yes, or repairs.
or repairs? Are those recent purchases or?
I'm not totally sure. I'd have to do some detail on that account. You talk about this, the student mobile technology.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the money is for. I just,
That's exactly what
Yeah.
it's for. And it only goes there because there's the line before is for the staff. That's the Unit A and paraprofessionals there. As that goes down to 0, then Unit A actually gives us a check to fund that.
oh,
Generally, at the beginning of the year, that's when we'll get the receipts, more receipts for the student insurance. And then IT will go out and buy parts for repairs throughout the school year.
Yeah.
As well as some new machines. They tried not to do a ton of new machines, and they do that on the
Oh,
renewal.
yeah.
If they can repair it,
As a capital project, even renewal?
that's on our
Exactly.
ongoing.
Yeah,
Okay, so the 36 is a lot of repairs?
Yeah.
No.
I believe, I could be wrong.
And the
Maybe they're
15
doing more.
I could double check that.
Yeah.
Because there are cases where.
They're totaled.
They're totaled and
Yeah.
they have to just replace the machine.
So the 15 is the yearly receipts. That's a typical year for insurance?
Yeah, it fluctuates,
Yeah.
right? Because people had that option of 1 year, 2
Yeah.
year, 3 year.
Mhm.
So it's quite a tracking process behind the scenes between the schools and IT department to stay on top of that and let.
Hoping the tracking gets better with Power School. because now we can generate it right through the system, where before it was sort of an add-on, added process that fell sometimes between IT and a school's office. So we're hoping that that actually becomes more efficient.
And I just like to remind everyone, it's imperative to remember that the balances provided are a snapshot in time, they're changing constantly. Any other questions there? Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, I would entertain a motion to accept the second quarter financial report, please.
Can we accept it as presented or do we need to? Think about the encumbered.
Do it as,
Okay, I just know you had asked about the. That hadn't been encumbered, the substitutes. That's okay.
oh, I think it's fine to.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Yeah, and I will just give you more detail
Okay.
at the next. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Move to approve the second quarter,
Accept.
accept the financial year 24 second quarter financial report as presented.
Motion made by Sarah,
Second.
second by Kate. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Carol.
Looking ahead, discussion on the FY 25 budget development.
So in your packet is the same document that we started with at the last meeting because we thought it was important to stay consistent and then just maybe update these discussions. Of course, as Emily has stated, it's over the holiday breaks. There's not a lot that has happened in reality. But I wanted to remind folks of our different funding sources here. And I did check to find out if Chapter 70 every day, every week, kind of go in to see if there's any news. I'm not seeing anything yet on Chapter 70. It usually comes out in the third week of January, which of course is very helpful to the town for how much revenue is going to come to the town. Gentle reminder that the $2 million increase that we had last year is really due to the Student Opportunity Act. Thank you, Gordon, which is a 6-year process from FY 22 to 27, gradually increasing for categories such as special ed, English language learners, economically disadvantaged. I believe those are the categories. So I did notice right before this meeting that the governor actually put out some 9C cuts. Gordon and I quickly looked at that. 9C cuts are to the current budget, and it's when the governor needs to put some Band-Aids on some things and make up any kind of deficits that are going to be elsewhere. So she has the prerogative to be able to do that. We looked at the list of the 9C cuts. It does not seem that it's going to affect our district, I believe.
No, we have to do some more detailed.
Yeah, to double check, but
Right now, nothing jumped off the page at us.
But other districts.
different grants.
Chapter 70 money will be.
No, it's not Chapter, it wasn't Chapter
A lot
7.
of it, a lot of grants.
Grants.
We'll have to go into and see, okay, is that impacting any element of programming ELPS is using?
So I just want to make mention of that in case anybody says, didn't say
Healthcare,
anything about 9C cuts and
a lot of different areas.
in the middle of the chart there, I put that required local contribution within the yellow because I thought it was important to make mention, just like I did at the last meeting, that if you look over the years, this is closing here and how much the required local contribution compared to the actual contribution. It used to be significantly more, like $2 million, and now it's just like $700,000. So I just think that's important to recognize there. We're always grateful to the town. They always go over and above what is mandated. So we're very appreciative of that. So the areas of concern, same thing as I said last time, the Unit A negotiations will begin in the near future. They're starting to reach out to inquire for some information, kind of like a scattergram or of where each of the teachers are, how many teachers are on maybe a master's 8, how many teachers are on a bachelor's, or master's, most of them are on the master's. So just a reminder, 62% of our total budget is Unit A, which is pretty significant. So we've got to really look at that when we start these negotiations in the budget. 62%, yep, of our total budget
Yep.
is Unit A. The other thing, ELHS NEASC accreditation process has begun. The gentleman was actually there last week at a staff meeting to talk to the high school staff about the expectations for both this year, next year, and I think even the following year. It's kind of like a 3-year, 2.5-year process, if I got that right, Mr. Smith.
They've changed the process where it used to be one visit for roughly 4 days or 3.5 days. Next year, we'll have the pre-visit, if you will, which will be for 2 days. And they set that up the other day at a faculty meeting where someone from NEAS came. We are going to request possibly moving off the second visit, which is that 3.5 day visit, because that's going to be in the heart of construction. I don't know if they'll allow us that, but we're gonna take the opportunity to at least ask.
How much does that typically cost, the NEAS?
That's a great question. We're
Do you guys?
what they project and what we think it will cost, or do we think it's going to cost more than they're projecting right now? Because you're putting up in this case, probably a team of five.
He said at the meeting 5.
Okay, 5 people in a hotel for, in this case, 2 nights, all 3 meals and transportation you're reimbursing for. And then any supplies that they need.
Mhm.
We probably can handle that just here, but
I mean, it's not like it's $100,000. But it's, it's probably going to be up, I'm going to guess at $30,000. Could easily.
yeah. The visits, the 3.5 day visits used to go up around
Mhm.
25.
Yeah.
How often does it happen?
It used to be every 10 years. Now they're doing that preliminary visit, but we're off. COVID knocked everybody off schedule a little bit. So our preliminary visit, I believe, is happening in our 10th year. And then depending on if we keep the schedule that they proposed, that will be in our 11th year since the last visit.
Where does that money typically come out of? Does it?
Operational budget.
Okay. I don't know if they were.
We actually have to work it into,
Right.
so
Okay.
it's good that they're letting us know so that we can start to put it into budget development discussion.
Okay.
I suppose you could put it under professional development or something of that. I don't know where we've put it in years past.
Well, since it was 10 years ago, before my time, in my 9th year here, I have to do a little.
I remember it the last.
Do you?
the-
Yeah.
Before my time, I guess.
Oh,
Or
For me.
boards.
Yeah. It could also be under administration or central office.
Hmm.
'Cause
Is the school committee involved in any of that visit?
you definitely will be involved in the second visit, where
They interview us and
they'll
stuff?
interview you, they'll have reception. It used to be, very sort of on that Sunday that they arrive,
Mhm.
very elaborate in terms of its ceremonial, in terms of greeting everybody.
Yep.
introducing everybody, having somewhat of a kickoff meal with everyone. I don't know if they're gonna do that now that they're having this preliminary visit, but you'll definitely be involved in probably both visits.
So I just felt it was necessary to mention that.
Everything is
Special-
up at MGM.
And I do have to find a
Little
hotel.
play money.
Is that where we're meeting?
Yeah, we're all gonna stay there too. That's right.
If they win.
Hey.
Anyone listening out there, we're just kidding. Just to be clear. Special ed costs, contracted services is an area that we are watching closely. We talk about, we don't want to add FTEs, and I understand that and the ramifications of the long terms of that. But when we have the needs of the district that we don't have a person, an FTE to actually do what's needed, we need to outsource it to a contracted service. So it's just an area that I do want to hone in on a little bit more, and probably will at the next meeting have a little more information for you to compare. So again, preschool, continue to ensure appropriate staffing. That's been a hot topic last few years. We all know that. Continued focus on the impact of the pandemic on student learning. We have begun our internal budget meetings, Gordon and I, with the individual school principals to ensure the needs of the district are brought forward during the budget process. We've already met with 2. We're meeting with the other 3 later this week. So at the next meeting, we should have a better understanding of what the needs are. A joint meeting has been scheduled between the town council and the school committee for January 23rd, 2024. Did I get that date right?
Mhm.
Right?
And that's here.
No.
No,
I believe it's.
There.
I believe it's,
Oh,
Sometimes last year it was here.
that's why.
Yeah, it was a special meeting.
Oh,
Typically, they invite us to theirs.
oh,
They invited us actually for tomorrow's and not everyone can make it, so we're on the 23rd.
which of course, through the charter officially starts the budget process for the school department. So, just want to remind everyone, or I said it at the last meeting, but I'll say it again because not everyone was here, that we have, so far, we have 8 Unit A retirements for June 30th, 1 paraprofessional and 1 custodian. Again, those are areas that, as retirements happen through attrition, there is typically a savings there, not always, but typically an overall savings, and all that is taken into account in the budget process. So the next page are your grants and revolving accounts. Again, I just wanted to bring forward the second quarter that we just talked about, just to keep this document up to date and accurate. So as we do have any conversations, you know, what you're looking at is the most recent. Again, that ESSER goes away September 30th. So, yeah, I'll talk about that after.
We'll talk about that after you have information.
Yeah. I very little, but I was going to when we get to
Okay,
the
yep.
ESSER page, which I might as well just do now, just like I did last time. I should have switched
Sorry.
it around. No, no worries. So if you go to the last page there, ESSER grant was the very last item. We talked about that we have approximately, you know, a little over $700,000 in the account. And we have a plan in place, which is on the bottom section there. And we did talk about the building and ground special projects, and that the bulk of that, we were hoping, and the school committee did endorse a Meadowbrook playground project. So we can get a safe, age-appropriate playground in place. And so what I can tell you is that Ms. Lodi and I had a Zoom conference call with Jake Rosardis. I sure hope I'm saying his name correct, who's very helpful. He's a DESI liaison for the ESSER 3 funds. And so we talked to him about, and I really wanted Miss Lodi there because it's her vision, right? These are her little tykes. She knows what they need, what she really foresees and envisions for the kids. And so he got to listen to that. And she's also reached out to 3 companies for quotes. It will have to go through the bidding process, but what they ask you to do is to talk to vendors who can understand your vision so they can give you a more accurate portrayal of what that cost will be, which we do still feel that $400,000 isn't accurate. It might even go up a tiny bit. But so what he said was for us to wait to put the narrative in with Mr. Smith's signature on it, along with the quotes, since it was only going to take us hopefully a couple of weeks. And he thought it would be better for us because he takes it, gets it all organized, asks us any questions he feels are needed, but then he passes it on to an engineer who then is going to look at it and just make sure that everything seems right, you know, that it seems appropriate. So that's where we're at with that process. So it was exciting to talk to him about it. So it seems real, you know, like, oh, this is going to happen. It's very
Do you
exciting.
only have to check with him about this because of the amount it is?
That's correct. So, well, anytime there's a capital project in the ESSER 3 grant that's over $30,000, it must have DESI's pre-approval. So that's why I wanted to bring it to you all first. We wanted to bring it to you all first at the last meeting to make sure that our vision was your vision as well, and that everyone was in agreement that this was something we wanted to do as a district, and it made sense, right? We have 700,000. If we could spend 400, 450 on a beautiful playground that is really needed, then it makes perfect sense. And the funds have to be expended, or should I say encumbered, by September 30th. However, they need to be fully expended by December 30th. So that gives us the whole year to get them to approve it, get our documents together, go out to bid for this, which will take some time. And we're not the only district in this area. We're not the only district anywhere. Everybody's trying to do this. So I'm hoping everything's going to fall right into place, but that's where we're at right now.
How do we get the specifics or rendering of that? I imagine to go out to bid, we have to know what we're.
Exactly. So we're going to rely on some of these vendors who, and then I think that there might be some equipment, playground equipment that is actually on state contract. So we might be able to purchase, and I don't know for sure, this isn't just talking to a few folks who have already been through this process, who I'm going to talk again with them. So state contract, you don't have to then officially go out for bid. It's already done for you behind the scenes. So if we could possibly buy the equipment through a state contract, and then maybe then we would need to do for the installation through the bid process. Does that make sense? So again, I'm still investigating all of that.
And are we going to address the fenced in area on the other?
And actually, Ms. Lodi brought that up to Jake, and he said, have you gotten any quotes? And she said, no, but if I know I need to, like with this project, I'd like to. And he said, go get a quote for it. So it's better to have the whole project. Yeah.
Good.
So we're working on that right now.
Great.
You want to reduce the size of that fence?
Oh, it just feels like it feels like a prison fence. For the year-olds, and
So then we go back, I apologize. So page 3. So the school choice revolving account, just a gentle reminder that the district for, what was it, 14, 15 years did not have school choice, but you all voted it back in again and it's doing well. For the first time down here at the very bottom, you'll see that the receiving at 43 is now more than what the sending is at 33, which is not how it has been in the past. So this is really a really great initiative here, and we're very pleased with it. And just as a reminder, those school choice funds, as I stated before, we're hoping to use when ESSER ends for district-wide summer academy programs, as well as a high school credit recovery program.
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, as part of our discussions, we've been running summer academies at the high school, the middle school, and at the elementary level combined. Last year all elementary ran out of Meadowbrook. So we're putting together what the cost has been and then putting some projections on what the cost will be, not only this year, which will be covered by ESSER, but then just going forward with, an escalation each year. And so that's going to be part of our plan in utilizing the school choice funds. So you have students who are coming in and we're giving back to students with that funding. The other part of that, hopefully, and I think it will be able to be handled, is looking at, we've changed our credit recovery program from predominantly software-based to more, that's a pilot this year, to more in-person teaching. And we're looking to see if that is successful this year, then maybe we can incorporate that in as well. And that actually is after hours. So I think I said it at one of the meetings. We looked at the Agawam model. It's been successful for years. Actually, we've had students withdraw from us. We've got a drop there. Yeah.
So last year to this year, up 18%, in the last 4 years, up 65% sending out. That worrisome?
I mean, it's always something that, that we think about, and what's interesting is where they're going. And so like the more we can get reports on that, the easier it is to sort of track, okay, what might be the reason why.
And certainly getting a new high school should,
Might change that.
Right.
I foresee that it will change that. I mean, there's
Yeah.
still, it's not just high school.
Yeah, and that might be driving a lot of the
Right.
talk of the how not well off we are here, might be
Right.
driving others out. Yeah. Yeah, okay.
And we-
That makes sense.
Last few years, we've lost more to Long Meadow and Hamden Wilbraham than in years past.
And sometimes it could just be that a parent works in another district with and they serve them,
They're allowed
their
to,
little ones with them to.
Well, they still have to
school, and
have school choice.
well, not all schools though. Long
Not
Meadow,
in Long Meadow.
they don't have to.
Not in
Yeah.
Long Meadow. You're right.
So,
But Hamden Wilbraham opens up a lot of school choice slots each year.
Do they?
And so we've lost more. I mean, when I say more, it's like,
Well, the high school, you said was built for 1,000, they have 800 or 12, was it 1,200, 1,000? It was down
May have been
200
built.
from the capacity.
yeah, I think they're at 1,000.
Okay, it was built for 1,200, yeah.
So they're looking.
which district is that?
Hamden Wilbraham.
Hamden Wilbraham, Chog. When we toured with the
Oh,
principal.
that's right.
We saw some airline bathrooms too. Pretty cool, not cool at all, but
Airport.
airport, what did I say? Airline.
Airline.
Was it really small?
Yeah. Really small sink, airport bathrooms, which the principal is not in favor of because of the hair dryer or the hand dryers.
Okay,
Just a little bathroom tubs, sorry.
good to get that feedback.
What are airport bathrooms?
No door.
No, so it's like a maze. It's not, you can see.
You go around the corner.
Oh,
You know, like when you're at an airport, there's no door.
To the
That-
bathroom?
Yeah.
Just walk in.
The stall has a door, but
Oh, I was
entrance to the
thinking,
bathroom and.
Or no doors anyway. Yeah, the hall, from the hallway. So you
Really
can hear
open-
it.
okay.
You would
Real
hear,
open
you
concept.
can hear inside.
got it, got it, got it.
We had a long discussion with the building committee on bathrooms.
Okay, so the next page is circuit breaker reimbursement. So just as a reminder, circuit breaker is for special ed expenditures that go above 4 times the state average, which approximately is $51,721, I believe. We have 38 eligible students. You'll see that number there, and you'll see the revenue that comes in here because this is a reimbursement. The expenditures that go above that threshold of the 51,721, we then get 75% reimbursement back to the district in the circuit breaker reimbursement account. What has changed from the last school committee meeting is that actually the total projected, there in the middle, total projected, I did say before, projected expenditures was 1.3, but I'm saying it's now 1.5. And therefore the projected rollover was 1.5, but now I'm saying it's 1.3 because there was $200,000 difference that's happened in the last couple of weeks. Does that make sense?
So I was thinking about this, Pam. Why do we roll over so much? I know we can.
We can.
I know we can,
Yeah.
but why leave 1.8 million in the bank for a year if we know we're gonna get that again the fall?
Because what we don't know
So 200,000 we just spent.
is how quickly that can change when you have a couple of very serious special ed students that could move into the district. And it can change things very quickly.
But not to the 1.8 million. So in the 10 years or the 16 years I've been doing this, we've rolled over the max, it seems like. We've never not rolled over the max, right? So.
No,
That's not true.
Not true.
One year we had to go back and ask
Back to-
money
yes.
because
Oh,
we
that's right.
had.
We don't want to have.
Spend it all of circuit breaker that year?
So
We were going to.
We still rolled over though.
We
Not-
did. We
not
didn't
much,
roll
though.
off, we didn't
Okay.
roll over.
Not
what-
really.
70,000 or something. I remember it
Yeah,
being
it
like.
was really low.
We didn't roll over nearly what we could.
Okay.
And we had many discussions about the fact that legally, what districts try to do is you can roll over 1 full years of circuit breaker revenue to the next year, which then must be expended. It's really nice to have that pocket of money in case, because you just don't know. I totally see your point, but I'm just going to remind you, our revenue this year is 1.7 million. Right now, I'm projecting we're going to roll over 1.3 million, not the 1.7. And that could change it could change in the next quarter. And I could be saying, okay, now it's down to 1 million. And yes, it is a lot of money. And I don't want to act like it's not. It is a lot of money, but things can change really quickly. And I do recall going to that meeting to town council, which I would prefer not to do again, to have to ask for additional money. And this is a very common practice that districts do, try to hang on to that money to roll it over for that cushion for a district so that they don't have to go to town council.
Okay.
So where are we at? The last page, tuition revolving account. We already talked about the ESSER grant on the bottom. Just a reminder, the tuition revolving account is basically your preschoolers. And we have 19 half-day students and 8 full-day students. We have some empty spots in there. So we were going to be working on getting some advertising out and trying to fill the spots. I think it's been a little more challenging when we changed the program. Again, this has been a little bit of a work in progress and we all knew that. And so I just think it's difficult for a parent if they're expecting a full day and then it ends up a half day and they're trying to figure it out. So we've got some vacant spots there.
Vacant for the,
And for the peer,
No,
but for the
Yeah.
half day or the full day or both?
I
half day.
think it's half.
Half day.
Yes, thank you.
Full day is fully enrolled.
So again, I just like to show you those numbers there so that you understand this is another funding source behind the scenes that does help us. We do fund paraprofessional and a teacher. I think there might be 2 paraprofessionals. Yeah. Okay. The pre-K teacher and 2 paraprofessionals from this, which is again, behind the scenes in my spreadsheets. I don't reflect someone as a full salary. I would only put half of their salary in the operating budget and half in the grant as an example. So again, we are continuing to move forward in the budget process with internal meetings and that January 23rd meeting with the town council and school committee. And at the next meeting, I'm hoping we'll have more information for you on maybe where the district's at. Behind the scenes, I'm working on, it's just that this isn't the only thing I do. So it's not like I can just sit down and just work on spreadsheets all day. Other things come up. So I'm working on your different bargaining units to move each of them up and to try to give you a better sense of what level funding, level services. Thank you, Gordon. Level services. Yeah, that's a big difference.
That's easy to figure out. Level funding, we already know.
Right, so level services so that we can continue the same programs as we have in the past. Any questions?
Our conversations so far have been, around the fact that we're looking to be conservative, but also make sure that we're addressing needs. So wherever we can be creative, we're trying to be creative in conversations.
Great.
Sometimes retirements can be creative. You need a position, but do you need that position that's leaving? So.
How many retirements?
You have 8.
So far, 8.
And then 1 and 1.
One para, one custodian. And again, that can change also.
Sure.
So try to keep you updated on that each meeting.
Okay. Great. Thank you, Pam.
You're welcome.
Up next, we have a check from Grin Barrett to the Maple Shade School gift account.
So in your packet, you'll see that Principal Connor Martin has asked the school committee to accept the check from Grin and Barrett for $1,295.33, which will go to the Maple Shade gift account for all of the students.
I entertain a motion to accept the check. Please.
I move to accept the check to, the Maple Shade School gift account for $1,295.33 from Grin and Barrett Enterprise.
Excellent. Thank you, Kate. Motion made by Kate,
Second.
second by Amy. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, nay. That carries 4-0.
That's positive. Thank you.
Okay, moving right along. Approval of the state robotics and drone competition. Now, this is a new drone competition. I haven't heard that.
No,
before.
yeah, so this year, the science team, robotics team is branching out and they have done quite a lot with drone, at least practicing drone piloting and so forth. Every now and again, if you walk up to the cafeteria after hours, you can see some of their obstacle courses set up. They're flying drones through. It's pretty cool. Have you seen it, Emily?
Yeah, my friends do it.
They race,
Mhm.
they race for time or what is it? What's the objective?
I don't even know what it is, but there's so many different like aspects to it. It's like, I don't know. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
That's very much their realm, but it looks really cool.
Do they have cameras on the drones? Like for?
I don't think so.
Or no? Okay, it's more about the movement.
What they do, yeah.
Huh, neat. You ever see those on TV, the races through like the warehouses? It's crazy. I don't know how they do it. They're all going in there. Then they crash and they explode and. Yeah.
Hope they don't.
Is that in the budget? I don't know.
We don't budget for explosions.
We don't.
So they're going to a number of drone competitions, as you can see. And so these are new, late January, early February, and then 2 in March. Those will be in addition to the robotics competitions.
They all look like they're weekend dates except for the 25th through the 27th.
Right, so the championship, they do miss school.
Okay.
And they have to qualify for
Okay.
the championship. So,
Is that like they stay overnight in Bridgeport or is?
yeah, they stay overnight,
Okay.
so they'll fundraise for that. Generally, they stay overnight. I mean, we've never been this close. We're Bridgeport, I suppose they could.
It's still an hour and a half.
Oh, yeah, they said they're not gonna need hotels or buses,
Oh.
Required to miss
Yeah.
2 days,
but they would miss 2 days of school.
So they are gonna go an hour and a half.
Oh, wow.
With,
I don't know if that's maybe extra tired for the competition.
oh,
Oh,
with club participation, is there, like with athletics, there's a threshold for your GPA for participation?
they're still for eligibility, so it's still a 2-0.
Okay, just thinking like if you're missing
Yep.
school, like that we're covering ourselves there. Okay.
Any other questions? If not, I would entertain a motion, please.
I move to approve the state robotics and drone competitions on January 27th, February 10th, February 25th through 27th, March 9th, and March 16th as requested by Peter Van Buren.
Excellent. Motion made by Kate. Second by Amy. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye. Those opposed, nay. Carries.
Let Mr. Van Buren know, he'll be very excited. It's exciting. If you do get a chance, it should come up. I don't know if they have specific days that they're.
I don't know.
We do at the cafeteria.
Yeah, I'll randomly see them periodically, so I'm not sure.
They fly a bunch at the same time, like all zooming around in there.
No, no.
No? Oh, yeah, no crashing.
At night or after school?
It's after school.
Cool.
Oh,
They
okay.
have to set up the obstacles and then they fly through and critique each other. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That would make wrestling practice more fun while I'm waiting.
Yeah, go watch the drone.
That's what I was wondering. That'd be cool to see.
Emily, can I ask you one more question?
Yeah.
You mentioned NHS. Did you say that was for a specific grade level?
Yeah, we're introducing it to the middle school.
School, and then
Yeah.
how does that work? Is that something that goes out to, and if you don't know, it's fine, like, does that go out to families or who contacts who for that?
Right now, Miss Petrie is working with the principal there and they're like getting it set up, but so far we've had, like, the teachers are aware of it and we've had few student groups go out.
Okay.
Eventually, we're thinking of putting it out on like the town forum and letting everybody know, so that's available to everybody.
Awesome.
And you've gone, Emily? Have you
I
tutored?
haven't yet, no,
Okay.
because I have sports after school, but I like orchestrate sending students.
Oh, cool.
That's awesome. That's great. Good for families to know. And that's good for us to continue to communicate out that that's available. So thank you.
Okay, if there is no other discussion, we can get along with our evening. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion made by Sarah. Second by Kate. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries 4-0. Thank you. We are adjourned.